Founded in 1999 by Jason Burks, Retrospec Films is Oklahoma's largest turnkey production company of its kind. With over 2 decades of experience, a full-time team of over 20 talented individuals, a 12,000 square foot studio to create in, and thousands of successfully completed projects in both entertainment and advertising. You're in the right place if you like hearing some good old filmmaking stories. On this podcast, we will discuss the pursuit of creating things and the problems we solve by digging up projects from across the last 20 years and giving you a glimpse behind the scenes where the magic happens. You're listening to Retrospec Films from the Archives.
Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining us on Retrospec from the Archives, where we dig up old projects, new projects, all kinds of projects, and talk about the different methods we use to create them, the producing, the writing, the creative, the shooting, cinematography, all that jazz. So today, joining me, we've got Adam.
How's it going?
I usually take that opportunity to mispronounce your last name, but I chose not to.
Thanks.
You're welcome. And Tayler, my wife.
Hey, guys.
Who used to not have a middle name.
But now I do.
Now you do.
Because I got married.
Yep. So
my middle name is my last name.
Did you really never have a middle name?
Yeah. I didn't have a middle name.
I didn't know that.
But they actually screwed up my driver's license. So now my middle name is my first name, and my first name is my middle name. So my name on my driver's license is Garber Tayler Burks.
Whoa.
Yeah. So it causes a lot of issues.
Whoa.
Flight issues and
all the issues.
Yeah.
And
wow.
I don't think about it until moments like this.
No. Got to get that fixed.
I do.
All right. Well, today we are pulling up a project from October of 2021, I believe.
I think so.
However, it takes us a long time to edit things. So actually, we just finished it this week, or we're in the process of finishing it. And we're probably going to give it a better name, but we're calling it Alaska. So we will take it back to square one.
Okay.
So I feel like this project, this is a short film, and it is, I think, is it 9 minutes long? 10 minutes.
Just under 10.
Yeah. This project was a short film, and Tayler and I'm trying to think in that fall, I feel like it was a little random. Did we go to Alaska because we couldn't go to St. Lucia?
I think so. Yeah, we were going to go to St. Lucia, and then Jason's passport was expired. So we just were like, let's go to Alaska. So we decided to go to Alaska. And then we're like, hey, Alaska's really beautiful. Why don't we film something there? And so
yeah. And I think we were just starting to like dabble with this like shooting and writing things together. It was fun, you know? So Tayler and I basically determined, because our St. Lucia trip got ruined, in which we bought plane tickets for, and we didn't get credit for them, and they've been thrown in the trash.
Yeah.
That we would instead go to Alaska. Neither of us had been to Alaska. October is a shoulder season, and nobody really goes there, so it's cheaper to go there. And just take a quick moment to say, oh my gosh, like Alaska, it's beautiful. I was actually thinking about it, how I just kind of wanted to go back. I was like, should we just change to my birthday, go into Colorado, and just go back to Alaska?
I mean, hey, you married me for my spontaneity, so
yeah, you love that kind of crap.
Let's
You're
go.
Like, ooh, yeah. The more unplanned, the better. So we go to Alaska. I, as many of you know, am a filmmaker of some sorts. But I feel like at this point in my career, it's always like these big undertakings, like because we have a production company and it's like people pay us to do stuff. So it's always like you got to plan it and you got to write it, and there's casting and there's a producer and there's locations and, you know, equipment and crews and lights and blah, you know, and it's fine. It's fun. But like I kept thinking like I kind of envy those people that just like take their camera and go make a film. And I'm like, gosh, dang it. I remember when I used to do that, but now it's just like impossible. So I kind of was like, you know what? I'm just going to take a camera, and I'm going to take my Canon C70, and I'm going to take one lens. I just brought a 50 mil prime, no zooming, no nothing, and one wireless microphone. And that's it. I'm going to make it as small as possible, and it's not going to be a big deal. And I'm going to bring 2 batteries, and we're good. And so Tayler and I don't remember the writing. Let's just start with the writing of this film. I feel like I wrote some stuff and then we threw it all in the trash, but I don't remember.
No, that's not. Yeah. You wrote the first script. I mean, really, I just went through it and edited it. I mean, I would say you were the main writer on this because you you had it in your head while we were on the airplane. I literally think the entire airplane ride you were writing the script.
Okay.
I think I helped you with the name.
So
I helped you with the character's name.
We're flying to Alaska. I'm writing a script on a plane to Alaska. Mm-hmm. I remember I wrote that big long piece that we just trashed in the edit. Remember that part where you were like writing?
Yeah.
We just threw that out. I don't know if that was Adam's fault or your fault, but someone just threw things away.
I think if you had added it, I would have told you to trash it.
I think I made the decision.
I think you did.
It's fine, whatever. So we get to Alaska. We have, first, it's just crazy. I loved that trip.
Yeah.
Did you love that trip?
I did. I loved that trip.
Yeah, I was actually spent the other night. I was just going through all the videos on my phone, and I was like, "Oh man!" I was like,
"This is actually a huge promotion for the state of Alaska."
Yeah,
if you didn't know, this is not promotion for this the short film. We're gonna just talk about Alaska.
No, but have you ever been?
No, never.
Never been. You need to go.
This was the closest I've ever been. Just
Dude,
editing this thing.
Lindsay would love it.
Oh yeah, we definitely would be up to go, but we just never have.
Next 2 or 3 weeks, you should just go.
We'll do it. Yeah,
just go. No, but it was, I thought it was really special. I don't know, but I'll get on with the story. I don't know. I was looking through that footage. I was like, man, it was so serene. And we were like the only ones there. I mean, that was kind of cool.
It was.
We're like the only people in the whole freaking state when we were there.
It was like really cool up until the point that you convinced me that you were being attacked by a grizzly bear. Then it wasn't cool anymore.
No, that was good. When I see that footage in the film, I kind of laugh because I'm like, that's right where I crashed a drone almost.
And then like went into the forest and like 10 minutes later calls me and is like panicking, whispering like, there's a grizzly bear. I don't know what to do. And then starts screaming. And like then the call drops and I like grab the van and like put it into drive. And I'm like,
I rubbed the phone.
I don't know how I'm going to do this.
I was like rubbing it on like pine trees. So
I think we're
like
so
chaos.
off track right now. Okay, so writing.
The film. Write the film. Here's the parameters. I'm the director and the camera operator and the grip, the best boy and all the other things. I think I don't think I had to do hair and makeup. You did that. You were hair and makeup, lead actress.
Which was so difficult to do because I was very done up the entire time.
A mess the whole time.
Yeah.
So the idea, I will say the concept, and it's funny. We make a lot of jokes. We're finishing a ton of short films right now, and it's like death, being lost.
Adam, what did you say in the edit session? You were like, Jason has
It's a lot of like a family member is dead, but then maybe they're not dead. Or the woods, a troubled young lady protagonist. Lots of introspective poetry and things like that.
Jason has an MO.
These sounds like all the things I like. How weird.
Coincidence? I think not.
But I love to mountaineer. I love climbing. And I do think there's this odd conflict that can exist with someone that loves mountaineering and then loved ones in their lives that are like, what's wrong with you? You could die. And this is like common. I mean, it's not like crazy common in my life, but I've been rock climbing for a long time. And yes, like rock climbing, you can die, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to do it. You've been pretty cool because you like to rock climb and you do a lot of the climbs with me. Yeah. So that works out.
I've only had one breakdown.
Yeah, only one breakdown. We don't talk about that one, but that was funny. And so I wrote this little short story that was basically about a guy who was climbing a mountain in honor of his brother who had died on that mountain in a previous climb with him. And in that process, he ends up becoming lost in Alaska on Denali, and his wife finds out that she's pregnant while he's on that trip. And it's just this really brief little moment that kind of explores that dynamic of emotions that occur in that environment, basically. I think that, when I look at it, well, I won't get ahead of myself, but we shoot the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Since I've been talking for 8 minutes now, why don't you talk a little bit about the filming of it? Like, how did you feel in that environment playing that character?
Apparently I have a MO too in acting because all I do is cry in every short film that we do. But no, it was really cool and unique. I felt like I wish we had gotten to actually see Denali itself because that would have been crazy. But
freaking clouds.
I know.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating. But no, I feel like being in a secluded place like that and like getting to play a person who's going crazy in the woods, it was really fun.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it was difficult to dig into those emotions. I lost my dad when I was 17, so I'm very familiar with grief, and I've been through a couple other things that have included grief. And so pressing into that emotion of death and grief and what that looks like, it feels easy in a way. So it was kind of fun. I feel like when you're acting, you're getting to like process through things that maybe you haven't processed through before or bringing things up again. And so that was interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I felt like one of the things I like the most about it is I think having filmed for so long now in my life, I quickly get agitated at I've shot this before. Mm-hmm. And that happens to me like 3 days a week.
Yeah.
So it's real hard because there's this struggle for originality where I'm just like, oh, I guess I can't be original anymore because I've filmed too many things.
Yeah.
But when we were there and like the sun was low in the sky the whole day, like, man, golden hour from sunrise till sunset, like it was wild.
It was wild.
Even the random photography that I took on my Fuji, like no matter what time of day, it just looked beautiful and epic. I mean, I like turned that sepia filter on. I was like,
nice.
All right, we just leave that on. But that would, I would say, even though I liked the topic, but there was something about being in this crazy world. Like, I think the scene that stands out to me the most is when you're like crying and you're on your knees and you're screaming at the mountain and stuff. And it's just like the filming of that for me was like, wow, this is cool. And like, we drove 10 hours north of Anchorage to find this weird location. And there's like not a soul in Alaska right now, hardly.
Well, it was in Denali National State Park.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was,
authentic.
I guess it was a national park, not a state park.
It's national,
but, yeah. I mean, it was crazy because normally national parks are like insanely packed. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think we saw like maybe 2 other cars the entire time we were there.
Yeah.
Which made it both magical. And then also
kinda
at
spooky.
night, I was like, I hope we don't stumble upon a wolf pack that's like going to hunt us or something like that. I mean, secretly, I would hope to see a wolf. That would be pretty cool, but also be terrified to do that.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the post a little bit. So, Adam, I think I started the edit.
You did.
Because I was like, dear God, we can't do another short film that just never gets edited. And so
here we are.
Here we are. This week we're finishing all 4 short films.
Yeah.
But then, and I think I did a decent job up to a certain point. But then what always happens. And then I'm like, Adam, please take this and make it and finish it.
I think if I remember, you guys like took a computer home for like 6 months or something.
We did.
And then those of us around the office were like, I guess he's going to edit this. We'll see what happens. And then, it wasn't until, so you guys shot it in like late 2021. And then it wasn't until like the summer of 22 when you guys were like, hey, we need to finish this.
Yeah.
And you guys brought it back. So for me, I think it was funny how you described the production process of like being really spontaneous, like one camera, one lens, let's just go out and shoot. Because that's kind of how the post felt for me, because I never saw a script. So like this is the first time learning that there was actually a script.
Right.
So I would just look at like your guys', I actually found it the other day. It was about 15 to 20 minutes long, your guys' initial cut. And so I just kind of looked through that. And then I talked with you guys about like what you wanted it to feel like in the story and the characters and stuff. And so I took, all of those clips and then just started from scratch from the beginning. And it really followed the similar, beats of the story. I think I might have rearranged a few scenes just to kind of add a little bit more to the story. But for the most part, it was just kind of combing through the footage of your guys' original edit and then maybe eliminating, I think I took 2 scenes out and kind of brought them in more so in like a flashback or something like that. But then, so that was in 2022. And then it's been almost a full year where, stuff gets in the way and we have to stop editing on these projects. And it's really been in the last like month or 2 where we've been able to kind of put the final touches on it. And hopefully by this week, it'll be sent to sound and finalized. But yeah.
What would you say? I mean, it's something I feel like you're really good at. I don't know if you can describe it well, but I'm curious, like, how would... When I think of the sections of this film that it's like it seems boring to make a collage, right? Like no one likes to hear that word. It's a collage. Make a collage, you know?
Yeah, like a montage.
Yeah, montage. They already failed.
Yeah.
I'm cutting
Collage
stuff
is
out and
pictures.
using glue. Make a montage. But yet it's interesting because especially, I mean, certain stories, like you have to put the brain in a certain place that for lack of better terms requires that. And, you know, maybe in your own approach, talk a little bit about that with this film. Because I feel like there's kind of 2 parts or almost 3 parts where you did use some like flashing back and flashing forward and real time and music intensity to create emotion that worked really good.
Yeah. I mean, I think, I don't know what it is about me. There's no like, this isn't like a rule or like, you know, an editorial thing. But I think just personally, I always kind of like view the world in that like visual montage thing, even like conceptually things that aren't necessarily related. That's just how my brain works, I think. So whether it's this, I mean, I did it a lot in like Love on the Rocks, like editing too, like in that kind of throwing everything you have at a concept visually and even kind of making it documentary style or something I do, even if it's like a modern day client, I'll always try and pull like archive footage, like fair use stuff from like the 60s and just kind of help tell the story in like a well-rounded way. So there's a few montages in here that are like that, where I'm kind of pulling things that aren't necessarily related to the story or to the characters, but it's helping to explain emotions that you can't just shoot in a camera. And I think it kind of helps. I mean, I hope it helps to kind of put the audience in the mindset of a person who's grieving or a person who's thinking about their place in the universe or in nature or something like that. And I'm just kind of trying to throw everything we have editorially to maybe hopefully not break the fourth wall too much, but to try and make the story matter to an audience who's not standing there in Alaska or who isn't currently, you know, grieving the loss of a loved one, but just it's all just kind of emotional. You know, a lot of what I did before Retrospec was in like the music video space. So I think that's where I learned to kind of pull from all these like eclectic visuals to try and create something that feels eclectic, but it feels right in a sense. It feels like it just all fits together, even though they're all just different pieces. So that's what I did with a couple different montages in the movie to try and show visually what you really can't shoot visually, but still have those pieces complement the stuff we did shoot. So it's complex, but I think that's just how editorially my brain works. And so I bring that to some of the projects we do.
Yeah. I'd be kind of curious, and maybe this is an answer from both of you guys, or maybe all 3 of us. I thought it'd be interesting to know like what you might want a viewer to take away from watching this film. So Tayler, why don't we start with you?
Don't start with me. You go first.
I would say that I think it is a unique topic, being a mountaineer, even though I didn't really love being in it because I'm not really an actor. I can connect with the role that I played in the driving scene where I'm fighting with you and saying it's not just another mountain, because I do think that I've probably even had some of those internal battles where I feel like I have climbed things irrationally, and I'm sure people would be like, why are you doing that? And I'm like, I'm not really sure, but I feel like I'm supposed to. So I think that connecting to another human out there that has that same feeling of, I want to do this and it's really difficult and it doesn't make sense and it doesn't seem like it has a reason, but I have to do it because like that's what I feel like my soul wants to do. That would probably be a strong part of the story. I think that, you know, obviously it's not a new story of a widow being pregnant, but I think that has a lot of emotion around it too. And I think filming in a unique, weird location as just a cinematographer, that story is something, just a visual story that I guess I'm proud to tell. And I hope that a viewer takes away and goes, whoa, that does feel different. Like that's not Oregon. That's not Washington. That's Alaska.
Yeah. That
would be mine. Adam, what would be yours? I mean, I know you just edited it, but I mean, you added a lot of your own things to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I would want them to pull from it is the thing I like about it is that we kind of get really kind of existential right at the end, but it's all told through just like a husband and wife sitting down talking a few times.
Yeah.
And I really like the distance between like the really grandiose high concept things and then just the everyday things. And because life takes place in between, going back and forth between those two things. Mm-hmm. And that's what really motivated me while I was sitting there editing of like, how can I kind of point out that gap and that life is both of those things. Mm-hmm. And so, I took a lot of inspiration from, there's a movie called The Tree of Life by Terrence Malick. And I think that's kind of was kind of a cool guide of like seeing how like what that kind of storytelling can be from just a really personal human story, but then also like that person's place in the universe and what life means for them. And I think translating that to our story, I hope the audience kind of looks at like what their place is in, the bigger story of humanity. But yeah. I know that's super pretentious, but that's
I think you hit it on the dot. I mean, I thought of Tree of Life a million times. I think you did a better job. I was so excited about Tree of Life, but I felt so confused when I watched it. Like eventually that like acid trip just turned into like, this been going for 10 minutes? Like how many crazy kaleidoscopes are we going to look at? But no, that's awesome. All right, Tayler, you can go last.
I think for me, I mean, the character of Remy really goes on this journey of feeling fear and a lack of understanding of her husband's call to be in the wild and nature. And at the end, you see her gain this true understanding of like the connection that he felt to himself and to the world when he was outside. And so I really hope that viewers watch this, and because there are people out there who are mountaineers or climbers who, when you look at their life, you're like, this doesn't really make sense to me. But I hope that people watch this and want to step outside themselves and like go try to see connection with the world in a different way. And I think that's what Remy did. Like she had to go to Alaska and stare at a mountain before she finally understood like there was a depth to Ian's desire to go climb this mountain that was far beyond her understanding at the beginning. Mm-hmm. And I think that journey is a real one. And I hope that people see that there is like a really deep connection that we can have with the world and ourselves when we step outside of our 9 to 5.
Yeah, that's great. Well, that is all we have time for today. Hope you get a chance to watch this film. At this moment, it's not done, but by the time this podcast is edited and aired, it probably will be done. So I probably shouldn't have said that. But we appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to our podcast from the archives. If you'd like to check out more episodes, we have over 20 episodes where we dissect different projects we've done over the years. You can find those on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the different places that podcasts live. And definitely check out our website, retrospecfilms.com, if you want to learn more about what we do. And I guess we will see you on the next episode, hopefully.
Yeah.
See ya.
Later.